called in the US midweek last week. I do want to review what's already been brought up in terms of scope.
Yeah.
And some of these might have a large enough code base that I don't know if we have room in the budget for more. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen here, and hey folks, I'm going to kick off the meeting. I'll give another. Let's wait till 2 minutes after the top of the hour.
Cool.
I'm going to share my screen in the meantime. Grab the link to the agenda. I have 3 screens. I apologize if I'm
You've got the right one.
looking.
I'm looking at the right doc, I think.
Yeah. And might look like I'm turning my head like all over. All right. This meeting is already recorded automatically. And so I'm going to kick it off. Hey, folks, welcome to the July 10, 2024 Kubernetes SIG security meeting. I'm your host today. My name is Ray Lojano. And this is a SIG security sub-project meeting for the third-party security audit. So this is a sub-project meeting. Do want to remind folks that this meeting abides by the CNCF Code of Conduct, which boils down to be kind to each other. And this meeting is also recorded and uploaded to YouTube. So if you don't want to share a video, please turn that off. I'm also sharing the agenda notes here. I'll go through the agenda topics. There's a few I placed on. First off is I have a PR open to add an issue template for folks to add to the audit scope. So there's just an issue template to just have, and please review this PR name or title, focus area, the SIG working group, maintainer, or a subject matter experts contact, link to the code base on GitHub, and any other information. So this would provide issue templates for folks to request any focus areas to be added to you. Not just this audit, but future audits as well. After that is done, I wanted to send an email to the leads group, which are the SIG leads and sub-project leads. But what I also want to have in the email is like what has already folks, or what subject areas that already have been that have contacted us within the past year or so that they want to be audited, because I don't want to give folks I guess a sense that whatever they're going to, the issue that the new issue they're going to create will be automatically be in scope. I want to give SIG leads some sense that like there's already interest in from other areas that have approached us this past year or even past few years or so. So that's I know cluster API, Windows nodes, connectivity, shared public cloud library, credential provider plugin, image builder, and the latest one, the validating mission policy. So wanted to give folks or SIG leads that because I don't want them to, assume that the issue that they're going to create will be automatically added to to this round of audit. So I'll make that clear in the text and the email out. All right, so those are two of my agenda topics. I'm also finishing up or working on the CI/CD section in the questionnaire doc as well. I know we got folks from Ostef here. How detailed do you need that to be in terms of like
So for us, actually, the PR that you put together would contain all the relevant information that we would need.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that's definitely perfect.
Okay.
And we have somewhere between 20 and 22 person weeks of labor available in our estimate. So we should be able to handle quite a bit.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. I'll send it out. I'll get, please add your review to the PR. That's in the agenda. Feel free to make any changes as well, or send any or add in comments or suggest any revisions on that. Any other topics that folks want to discuss?
I had one, but it's one where I think the answer is probably going to be no, but I'll mention it anyway. There was a recent thing that came up this week around a vulnerability in the Git repo volume plugin. And it's one it's been deprecated for a long time, but it's still in tree. I don't know whether it makes any sense to say it would be worth it would be worth the security review looking at some of the old things that are still in tree but aren't really, that have been either deprecated or because they present a risk, right? They present as this one kind of demonstrates, but I'm just not sure because they're deprecated whether that would be something people would be interested in doing. But I think I thought I'd mention it as it came up this week.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a plan for removal in the next. Usually, things are deprecated, plan to be removed within
Yeah.
3 releases.
It was deprecated in 1.11.
Oh, okay, so it's a long time. All right, so no, so the deprecation policy, the deprecation to removal
Mm,
policy, it's more recent than 111. So that one
yeah.
probably hasn't caught any eyes on like, oh, that doesn't follow our policy to
Yeah.
remove.
So I suppose you're right. Things are should probably be getting, they shouldn't be living deprecated. So I guess there's not
Yeah,
a lot of point unless we identify ones that still are.
yeah.
I was thinking whether it might be a forcing function for people to say these things really do need to get removed because we can say, hey, look, there's actually vulnerabilities. It's not just this is old code, it's old vulnerable code. You really do need to get on with like removing it.
Um, and so I've worked with in releases in the past. SIG storage have been very helpful and they've been very active
Mm.
to add and remove things in releases. So I think it's something that we could also approach SIG storage
Yeah, I might look into it as well.
into removing because it's probably since 111, so no one so it's probably hasn't had eyes in in
Yeah,
many years. So yeah, I could see SIG storage jumping on this and gaining some traction too
yeah.
on
That's
this.
maybe we can ask them. I'm asking them about how you disable these and remove these things anyway, so maybe they'll see anything from that.
Yeah. Um, I'm also, yeah. Let me touch with SIG storage since I've worked with them before on this. If you could send the
Yeah,
more info on that, and then
yeah,
if there is no plan to remove, then I think it's also fair, fair game
yeah,
to.
yeah. There's going to be a fix for this. Luckily, the person who reported the vulnerability also did a fix, which
Okay,
is nice of them.
perfect. Yeah.
But yeah, there's the general point of this has been deprecated since 111. Why is it still here?
Yeah. If it doesn't follow our policy, but I know that some things were grandfathered in, or
Yeah,
things weren't. The things deprecated before the policy was implemented were kind of, I assume, were grandfathered in. But yeah, like the beta features are no longer active is one of the new policies as well. But
yeah,
things were grandfathered, and if that wasn't if your feature was beta before it actually that policy was came up to light. Um,
yeah.
okay,
Sure.
yeah, that's a good
Cool.
one. Um, all right. Any other comments, questions?
Hi Ray, hi everyone.
So
I I've just set something in the comments here to see if that would be helpful. Talking about potentially maybe setting some target dates or if there are any dates we want to work with in terms of setting targets or deadlines and things like setting a target date to finalize the scope and if there's any thoughts on a target date or time frame to actually do the audit, to perform the audit, or if there's any thoughts about that to kind of get us on a timeline, if that would be helpful.
Yes. I think that'd be very helpful. Um, in the past, the target dates for this subproject is because of things happened in COVID, and things took longer, and things are open source as well, or working in open source. But yeah, I think targets will be very helpful as a guide. And something that's, I myself will be I guess more into to complete tasks and make sure that the targets are being met or close to being met. What is I would like to have this audit done by the end of the year, if possible. In order to do that, let's work backwards. Like, what does that need to, ideally be finished before December? What do we need for that to be accomplished before that, from now until, and actually before even November, to be honest, or mid-November, because of U.S. holiday times comes up.
So for us working backwards, we do need some time to actually select the audit team or teams that would be working on this. So once we set a scope, there is 3 to 4 weeks of work that we have to do on our end before we can actually schedule the work to be done. And because we're dealing with a large pool of labor, I think we're going to wind up with 1 or 2 teams working in tandem. So the actual audit itself, I would estimate, would be around a month. And then we will have like the remediation period, which is always a question mark. How long does it take to fix things that are found and so on? But the actual audit piece, we would want to have, let me think here. We would want to have a scope set for us to be able to bid against, probably around mid-September at the latest, in order to get it done by the end of the year.
Yep, we can get that done.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And this is actually good that we have some stuff that we can run with now. We can start building estimates for at least how long these components will take and add on to it as we go. So we can get started now.
Yep. Yeah. I know there's a lot more recent features and that might be added here that are quite big, but also not in what we call core Kubernetes. Like cluster API, but I'm thinking gateway API, to be honest with you. I know SIG Network has done quite a lot of work with them, so but there's things that are not in core, that or there's a big trend in use of those components not in core with end users that I would like to reach out and see if they're interested in being part of the scope. Also, question to Asif: do you need maintainers of those areas and subject matter experts in contact, or is that or need
Yes,
contact information? Okay,
but yes, we would.
all right, I could spy that.
Yeah, it's extremely helpful because depending on how complicated things are, the auditors may want like a technical walkthrough of how things work
Okay.
and potentially just communication both ways. If they find something that's strange and they want to know, hey, why is this designed this way? It's a good to have a direct contact.
I know that. Okay, we could definitely spy that. All right. Okay, so thank you for that, and we'll definitely have the scope done by mid-September. Uh, I'll draft up an email to the leads, so I'll have folks review it as well. I'll try to add some warnings that that for so that sick leads don't assume that it's automatically in scope, but it is on the roadmap to be in an audit in the future. But I just don't want folks to have that assumption. So I'll write a draft.
Excellent. Additionally, I can progressively work on these things over time. So if there are more components that make the definitely part of the audit list, if you send them my way, I can just immediately start working on those as well.
Okay. All right. And all right, I will add in some more links over to actually the links in the recent scope. That's all in the external audit roadmap as well. So you could find Center 6 security, external audits, and external roadmap. And most all the ones that are recently in scope, that asked to be in scope, have links to where their source is located.
Excellent, excellent. That's perfect.
That here. All right. All right. Sounds good. All right. Any other comments or questions?
I'll start also creating a RFP form template so that we can start capturing some of this information that we can convey to the audit teams and communicate what is needed and exactly where the focus areas are to be. That's something we can also definitely do collaboratively. I can share with you the initial template, and then we can add to it as needed. And once that we feel like that's at a good point, that's the main document we'll use to source the audit teams and to confirm, exactly what they want to work on. So I'll have that shared. I'll have a very initial draft shared probably by the end of this meeting, and then we can add to it as needed.
Thank you.
And that can include things like links too. For example, a link to all of the discussion about what to focus on, and then we can also we'll be sure to capture exactly what the focus areas are. So we'll want to confirm that information with this group and before it's finalized.
All right, one more thing I forgot to mention, and I think I mentioned it when we talked before, was after the audit's done for remediation, the findings do have to go through the Kubernetes SRC, Security Response Committee, before anything is made public. So we have to, and I think they meet bi-weekly or once a month, but we will have the audits sent to them. They have, and we'll keep them involved after. Well, actually, once the audit is rolling as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, right, just given the process last time, maybe if we can bring them in earlier.
Yeah, I was thinking about having them communicating with them from the very start, actually, and
Perfect.
I would like to request. I'm going to request an SRC liaison as well. Someone who is a point of contact and or who could work along with us on the remediation and the review of the audit as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, that was something from one of my big lessons learned last time, was to request a liaison or point of contact with SRC.
Yeah, I think that would be a very useful thing to have. I think that was one of the issues we had last time, was report delivery through publication took a while because we just didn't know who we were getting hold of, right?
Yep. Yeah. And I have a person in mind who was quite helpful last time, or two people. So I could request at least one of those two folks that were quite helpful. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
I think we're all good on our end.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And we'll send over some links to some drafts by this end of the week, and I'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Okay, excellent. See y'all soon.
Cheers,
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you, everyone.